My name is Marty Koshner, and I'm an entry fragger for Team Bliss. But what you don't know about me is I'm an actual athlete, unlike the rest of these guys. I play mainly two sports, being soccer and basketball. I used to play Division 3 at a professional club. I'd say I'm pretty much better than everyone that competes in soccer against me or basketball. I guess it was just watching a lot of Messi and just getting inspired by that, and I'll just take it on the field, and then from there I guess magic just happened. My biggest achievement in sport would have to be the MVP award back in 2015. My most memorable moment would have to be when it was overtime 3-3 and I scored the winning goal. Nothing too fancy, just a standard kick. The worst thing I've done would probably be when I slide tackled someone and I kind of injured him. He ended up breaking his ankle.
You mean you ended up breaking his ankle?
If you say it that way then. I definitely did stop the goal, that's for sure. The siege operator who would be the best soccer player would be Captel because he already shows off his skills in his elite skin. I definitely got the inspiration from my brother as well. I used to watch his games all the time. Unfortunately, he was a tier above me, so I never got the chance to verse him, but I'll definitely kick his ass in Siege.
My name is Jacob Stefancic, and I play fragger for Team Rhythm. But what you don't know about me is I'm literally always listening to music. Whether I'm doing something with friends or family, or I'm in scrims, or I'm even sleeping, just always listening to music. I think music helps a lot with just like relaxing and just a really powerful thing. I just have a big playlist and put it on shuffle. Whatever comes on, from like rock music to rap. I think it's something like 13 or 14 hours. My dad got me into the more like rock and rap style of music, and my mum got me into the more like EDM and like kind of trance type of music. Even when I play drums, I do have my right earphone on my ear, but it's just my left one's the only one in. I'm sure people are always frustrated that I'm listening to music, but no one has ever interfered and told me so. I'm actually a really heavy sleeper, so music's never woken me up, like in particular. I had a picture frame fall once and like glass broke all over the side of my bed and I just slept through the whole thing. And my mum walks in and she's like, what's going on? And I'm out cold most of the time. The siege operator that I believe has the best taste in music would be IQ because of her elite animation where she's jamming out to tunes, some EDM, getting the vibes high.
This could be huge. Manages to find them.
Into the last game of the night. It's been a long one, but it is coming to its sweet, sweet conclusion. Before we get there, though, we must take the time to thank, of course, our wonderful sponsor in Livin. If you guys want to rep some of the cool merch that we've got, we're both wearing it actually tonight. Super comfortable, super nice, and it's also damn affordable. It can be even more affordable if you go to the store and type in OCN15 into the promo code. Give you 15% off all the items in the store. Not only that, exclamation mark, there we go, Livin in Twitch chat, and it'll take you right there. So that's all you need to do. It's pretty simple, it's pretty easy, and I honestly will vouch for it. It is really comfortable merch and really good quality. Dev, we're now coming into it. Do you want to say anything about Livin? Let me ask you that. Do you want to say anything about Livin? I did my little bit, but do it.
I know we always say this, but the message is not to be understated.
Yep.
In the modern society, we don't talk a lot about mental health. It's definitely stigmatized, and I want to break through that, like Jigsaw entry fragging into sight. We want to get rid of all that stigma, and we want to say it ain't weird to speak. So that's the message Livin says, and it's one that I totally love.
Yep, it's one to live by, that's for sure. It's one to move on by as well, because we're moving on to the next matchup. Rhythm and Bliss is what we have on the cards for our fourth and final game of Playday 4. Now, if the matchup previously didn't do you justice, if the Order Knights game didn't do you justice, this one surely will. Both of these teams, as we came into this season, we had some question marks around where they were going to be performing, how they were going to be performing, but both of these teams have surprised us. And starting with Rhythm, I think that they don't want to say that they've shocked me with their performance, but they have beaten, okay, This is crazy. They've beaten Order and Wildcard. How nuts is that?
I feel like they just got to take down Knights and Elevate, and then we're crowning Rhythm as the champion. These guys are taking the scalps of some of the big hitters in the region right off the back of being relegated. This is the team that got relegated. They came through OCN last season, went into the relegations, got knocked out by Rhythm and Bliss. Who is their opponent for today? Rhythm. These guys have made a massive change since the relegations, brought on Ghoul and Supremacist. Now, Ghoul has had a long history within the comp scene in ANZ, but not so much at this level, not at the tier 1. And Supremacist is very much a fresh one, plucked out of ranked, and he has had an amazing performance and also some fantastic interviews, which I really enjoyed yesterday. And look, if Rhythm win, we might get to see another one.
I'm confident that we're going to as well, because Bliss, look, I mean, I'm not, okay, that's not fair. We're not going to see it because Bliss, but this is a good opportunity for both of these teams to walk away with 3 points here. Both teams, we had assumed, you know, they weren't going to be as competitive, and now they've turned the tables. I do have to say, Repix, Repix, I don't, you know what? I don't even give a damn at this point. We're going to call him Pix because that's how frustrating it is. But Pix has been an incredibly good pickup for this roster and really has bolstered in a lot of the damage that they were able to do and able to inflict in the first 3 Playdays.
Yeah, for sure. He was MVP of last night's Playday, I believe, and he's certainly been stepping it up. Massive entries on the Zephyr. Looks a little bit like what we saw from Jigsaw just now. But also big performances across the board. I know Oda's popular with the Twitch chat. Shade also has had a lot of big impact plays as well. So if Shade's up to something, you definitely only be watching it. Yep. And look, these guys, Bliss, you know, Ferox last year, Fury in the past as well. They've had a long history in the region. Shade and Todd, some of the most long-time players in the OCN region. But they haven't quite broken into that top for quite some time. They went down into relegations, stormed through it. You know, they came first place out of that. And then coming into this season, they actually have done quite an impressive situation, and they're currently sitting second on the standings at the start of today's Playday. So, look, it is honestly possible for Bliss to really take it to that next level and break top 4 and make it all the way through playoffs. But we need to see if that's actually going to happen. We need to see them tested against more teams.
Also, if Bliss win tonight, they skyrocket to the top. They become first in OCN. Yep, they're currently sitting just underneath Elevate, and because Elevate haven't won, they could actually be sitting at first. They could be sitting at top of the ladder. That is utterly insane. Anyway, let's have a look at the map. Let's have a look at the veto process, and this will tell us our tale. So Chalet and Coastline banned out as the last choices to give us Clubhouse, the OC's favorite, I would dare say, and a map that don't really have a favor for. Actually, I'd probably lean into Bliss a little bit more here, Dev.
I'm kind of leaning into Bliss no matter how well you cut this one. These teams did play in the relegations. They actually played on Clubhouse as well, and Bliss took it, but it was a very close 8-6. And if it is an 8-6 that we see, then Bliss won't necessarily have that number 1 spot. They will be tied for points with Elevate. So Bliss is gunning for the full 3 here to take number 1 seed in OCN. Imagine that. And look, Rhythm, they've shown that they do like to play Clubhouse. They've beaten other notable teams such as Elevate and Rufflecopter on this map in the past. But when it comes down to game day, anything's possible. That
has been the biggest theme for OCN so far in the first 4 Playdays, is really anything is possible. If you don't believe us, literally go back and have a look at any score from any game, and you will see that anything is possible. And so Bliss need to step into this with caution. They take the 3 points, they rocket up to first on the ladder and set themselves up for an incredible second half of the season. Rhythm, they are gunning for this win.
Rhythm are certainly keen to get themselves back into the game after taking down Wildcard yesterday. and Order the week before. Next up for the chopping block is Bliss. Rhythm have their work cut out for them, though. Bliss, I've been told that they've been a little bit out of practice at the moment. Sorry for a second. Are you banning the Ashe? Are you counter banning Supremacist right now? Is that what's going on? I like the Supremacist ban. That's cool. That's cute.
I
like
hope
how
this gets spicy, dude.
I like how there's no reply in the chat from Supremacist himself. Like, he was the Ashe player yesterday. And just nothing in the chat about it. He's keeping cool and calm. I'm the proof he's not a one-trick, I guess.
The one-trick pony, hey? There's plenty to show. I was really hoping we were going to get some spicy bans after that Ashe play, but that's okay. It does, however, leave Thatcher on the board, which, you know, I feel like is never seen in OCN anymore. So that will obviously open up the gate. Well, there you go. That's something a little bit more left of field.
Yeah, I really like that. If I looked at back in history, Mute's been something that Bliss have banned a couple times before. They actually banned it in the Elevate game last week and in their LFO game last week. So Bliss, clearly, they don't like their drones being impeded whatsoever. They like to just get that out of the way nice on and early. And that may well throw Rhythm off for a bit of a goose chase. So we jump into it. First thing I notice is Supremacist on the Zephyr instead of that Ashe, seeing if he can play the Ashe substitute. Also, Yana is in. Yana's another good Ashe substitute. She has the 3 explosive these days, the 2 nades and the Gun 6. We've seen a lot of teams bring her. Ghoul 6ing onto the Hibana, making sure we got 2 hard breaches there.
Likewise, Maestro being 6-pick out for the Bandit. So, let's get into it. Snap Fitness community vote. That is the closest we have seen a community vote yet in OCN. 4% between the teams. And it's actually favoring more into Rhythm's side. So there you have it. That one will be interesting to look back on as to whether this is a blowout or a close match, because it does really have the potential to be an utter blowout of all proportions. And in all honesty, I'm going to do the Xenox. It could go either way, Dev. It could
go
be
either
a
way.
blowout for either of these teams.
I have a feeling that this map's going to go to overtime, just like the Clubhouse game during relegations did. Now, I can't tell you which one will win. I think I'm very eager to see how Supremacist is affected by this Ashe ban. Is it just a Hail Mary from Bliss? Will Bliss come into it on hot form? We saw that yesterday Repix was certainly hitting his shots. Despite, from what I heard from Todd, Bliss has actually not had a great practice schedule as of late. They've been a bit interrupted and haven't had as many scrims as they would like. What is the counter here for the Bandit trick? Supremacist with the Nomad.
Big.
Oh, okay, wow. He just misses it.
No.
What, Naz? Oh, I guess that's still pretty worth it. if he managed to prevent that second ace Selma from detonating, I guess it's worth it if Oda was a dead man, but a bit unfortunate there for the poor guy.
I thought that... I genuinely thought Oda had put down the second Bandit charge. Nice trade from Repix there onto Drex. That is, of course, the Thatcher gone. I believe there was only one more EMP left in the pocket, so with nothing really open on the CCTV wall. Okay. Cool. That's one way of doing it. Maybe they'll just fight their way in with brute force here, Dev.
Yeah, it looks like Rhythm are rotating here for the construction take while they have a line of sight open on the CCTV cameras wall. That's really the most important part, that line of sight. But it's not as big as they would like. And it's also not an entry hole, so they can't desperately rush in if they need to. In fact, no one on that side of the map at the minute for Rhythm. Taking con. Nice drone ahead. Avax has 2 Selmas left, but he wants to make sure they don't get tricked. He wants to make sure that they don't get wasted. Supremacist here. M762 in hand and holding on desperately. Impact comes through. denying that Selma. Repix as well. Todd? All out of impacts can no longer impact trick that. 35 seconds remaining. Nazgul's making a rotate, but Repix is shut down.
So the buddy system, Nazgul legs it straight past Todd. That drone has given them everything they need. And now know that Cash is open and Todd is all on his lonesome. Ghoul will close it out with the last 2 kills to make up the 3-piece. And that is a well-needed round to start off this last matchup of the night.
Big round for Ghoul as well, I believe 3 kills. Very well played for Rhythm there, despite struggling a little bit with that wall denial. They managed to find quite a few picks, catching Bliss off guard time after time. And, well, with Bliss losing that first round, they're going to immediately just rotate off and go down to Church Arsenal. Not dwelling too much on the mistakes of their past. But thing is here, Church Arsenal can be quite hard to defend with Hibana on the cards. Especially because Hibana and Thatcher are in, right? Like, if they try and play the Kaid and protect the Moto Hatch, you can get that with the Thatcher anyway. If they try and impact trick the Kitchen Hatch, then, well, you've got Hibana, which these days, 2 at a time. Pretty much hard counters the impact trick. So I'm looking at this and thinking Bliss better play something a bit aggressive. They better take the fight to Rhythm. And I want to see someone like Repix really step it up and really start to lean into his fluidity and mechanical skill and try and throw a spanner in the works.
10 seconds to go.
Honestly, would not doubt it for a second.
5 seconds left.
Nice little bit of cheeky drone hunting. Catches 2 drones before the prep phase ends. So, that's not too bad. I wouldn't really necessarily call it drone hunting, but it's fallen into their lap. Shade, don't you dare. Don't be like this.
Gross.
Don't be... Don't be like this. Don't be like this. Don't be like
what is that?
this. Shade!
He throws Shade all the way out there, right onto Supremacist. No chance he saw that coming. What a disgusting bullet hole peek. It's a lot of utility down the toilet as well as Supremacist, the new player on Rhythm. He was the missing piece. He was a risk for Rhythm to pick up, but he's not going to have an impact this round. Drex also lost a lot of HP, and Rhythm need to recompose. Ghoul really desperately trying to win that fight, but Bliss are taking Rhythm by storm and just keep beating on that drum.
Activating drone.
Well, when you can, get yourselves on a roll and make things as hard as you can. And this is a great call from Team Bliss. They find the early pick. They manage to make the not only do they make it a little bit more fruitful for themselves, but they've now doubled down on the site. They've rejigged the site to how they would have wanted it. And now they just sit. They wait. They say, Rhythm, you come to us. Let's see how good you are.
Oda in Arsenal. 1 Selma detonated on the kitchen hatch. 1 more or 2 Hibana x Kairos are going to be needed to finish that up. Destroying that Banshee, using this vertical play to try and squish those players on side. Oh, no! Just saw the feetsies, but didn't tap him in time. Oda's still dancing around here. The hatch not open as of yet. I feel like Rhythm should be able to punish this better.
They do have the opening, and now that's going to force that player out behind the bar. Todd makes it away without a scratch. How on earth?
What?
Now,
That's a nade?
geez, that is a cheeky nade. That was stuck in mud. Free kill for
man.
Todd. And there's 1 more on main stairs as Leb is actually the last to remain period. Done.
Why do you peek that?
Because he's a gamer.
That's Bliss for ya. They don't care. They don't give a damn. They're going to peek that. They're going to swing you and send you straight back to where you came from. A great retort here for Bliss after losing the first round. It certainly does not shatter their confidence for even a second. And look at this.
Oh, that's the control on that as well is just so gnarly, Dev.
Certainly is. A lot of good recoil control. The Vector does not output a lot of damage at range, so really making sure he probably needed to land about 5 or 6 shots before that injure actually came through, and then another one to confirm it. Credit to Shade. It's amazing the kind of stuff these players can come up with. The game's been out for so long, and I'm still seeing new spawn peaks I've not seen before. That was a bullet hole from the jacuzzi wall looking out onto the strip roof. It's just, and I'm just glad it wasn't me who died to that.
Yeah, right. You can already see well, you can already hear, I should say, the slamming of the desk. It would just be so infuriating seeing something like that. And I'm just going to make one quick point. A note, well, I mean, Todd's actually bringing impacts instead of your typical C4s. That's one point to make. And, oh, okay, that's actually a lot of impact grenades. That's 8 in total for the team of Bliss. So I love that. Absolutely love that. But if I do have enough time, I really need to give credit where credit is due to all of the newcomers to OCN, to Tier 1 Rainbow Six in A and Z. Players like Repix, players like Supremacist, Ghoul, and of course Jigsaw in the previous game. They have all held their own, and Wet as well. It's been incredible to see the newcomers really do some damage in the first 4 playdates.
Certainly has been a pleasure to witness. This time around, it's actually the Maestro for Oda instead of that Bandit. Not contesting that Kennel's Breach means it's pretty cut and dried for Rhythm to open. But at least Bliss haven't lost a player early like they did last time.
Attackers have located a bomb.
No, Vex drone has gone from CCTV all the way through to con without being taken out and played a little, well, did a little bit of a tango with Repix there, but so much information they've been able to gain there. May have been more use on site, but for all the impacts that Team Bliss brought, I should say, they were still able to get that CCTV wall open for a vaultable plus a murder hole. And speaking of a murder hole, Dev, that is one of the tightest ones I think I've seen in a long time.
I don't know about you, I can hardly see anything through that. Nazgul's got some binoculars there to hold that angle. As the breach goes out onto Con, cash wall. Ghoul has so many extra Hibana pellets to make this work. Big run out from Shane. Doesn't find anything.
Actually, I feel like that's the Shade of old that we haven't seen for a very long time, almost since the Fury days. That's how long it's been since he's done something extremely cheeky like that. The cheek on Oda to even try and peek there. No, Vex rips their head off of Shade, and Bliss are taking a taste of their own medicine.
And there's the player on the balcony. Drek steps up, Novaix locking down that diffuser. Repix hears it, and after cleaning up one, he's hungry for more, but cut off from every which angle. Nazgul, the last player. And Supremacist and Ghoul together lock out that round for Rhythm.
Well, it did look like the server wall obviously came back to haunt them. And it's not a comfortable position for Team Bliss to be in here. They're letting rounds slip early into the hands of Rhythm, who have already shown full well if you do give them the inch, they will take you a mile. With teams like Order and Wildcard under their belt, they could actually make a late surge into the top 4, top 3 even in OCN.
It's possible. Like you're saying, those overtime victories that Rhythm have managed to cop this year, it's quite a contrast to last OCN, right? Where Rhythm were notoriously that team that hit overtime again and again and again, but lost them. And the way that the scoring worked last season, you get no points for an overtime loss. This time, Rhythm have turned it on its head. They're getting the victories out of these overtimes, but it still might not be enough to propel them into that top 5, which is definitely a possibility for them, and it's where Bliss currently reside in the 2nd place. A little something I was chatting to Ghoul about before this game. We're talking about Supremacists and Ghoul and Supremacists joining this team, and Ghoul said it was a bit of a risk, right? Picking up lesser known players, especially Supremacists, but they're confident that it's paid off. And going up against Bliss, right? I think these are a lot of players that are quite familiar with each other. And Ghoul said, and I quote, Supremacist is so deep in Oda's head that Oda might as well start charging him rent for tonight's game.
Oh, the salt that you love to hear. Well, let's wait and see if that is actually of any impact or significance.
Well, at least it got Bliss to ban Ash against Supremacists, so that's something.
This is very true. Maybe it is all but rent-free inside that head. And Oda did go down to a rather peculiar little peak. So maybe already the signs starting to creep in there. Repix gets absolutely dropped by Supremacist, peeking from server as Nova. Noveix was taking all the attention at top red.
Supremacists clearly comfortable here on the Zephyr. Not worried at all about that Ash. All droning out Todd, and his drone also evades that. Great progress here for Rhythm. Over half the round gone, and they've got good information on where these players are. They have full cash and construction control as well, but Shade looking to make a play potentially. In through logistic office, Leb on the hatch above. Supremacist starts to encroach upon his personal space.
Bomb located by attackers.
All in all, some good timing there. Shade with not a lot to fight for right now. Has 2 smoke babes, needs to ensure that he uses these wisely. Right now, just holding them at bay. Oh, he's looking for the peek around the corner here. I love this from Shade. That is an even further smoke that'll push them back into an uncomfortable position as he edges closer. He pulls back away and baits me harder than he baited them.
C4 ripped elsewhere, finds nothing. Shade holding the line with the M590! He gets one, but Supremacist to trade it through. Noveix could be picked up, but Supremacist is hungry. 20 seconds remaining, and Leb takes out Naz. 2 players left for Blitz. It's Oda to hold on. He finds Noveix. Can he get Supremacist too? Get him out of his head. Holding on, it's Todd, shut down. Oda takes down Supremacist. The plant is not down. Leb, he doesn't stick the plant. And Oda clutches it.
What has just happened? Rhythm. It literally looked like they had everything going in their favor. A 3 versus 1 at one point against Oda. They had crossfires established. That peak there is what completely threw the spanner in the works. There was no opening for Ghoul to support. And that is what comes to the demise of Rhythm. Wow. That is insane. And now Team Bliss, I would say they're handed a little bit of a fortunate round.
There's no doubt about it. That should have gone to Rhythm, but feel like Oda is climbed out of that tendency of Supremacist's head and took his head clear off. And in that 1v3 to hold down the line with that bullet hose, massive nerves of steel for Oda, but not so for Leb. He had to stick it. He had to trust his teammate to cover, because if you peek that and you don't get that diffuser down, you're losing that round on time.
locate.
Leb didn't know if his teammate was covering him. I don't think his teammate was, but you have to stick it through and trust your teammate for better or for worse. It didn't happen, and Rhythm, that was just such a pivotal moment for them, and it's something you've just got to move past. You can't dwell on it.
Yeah, you see, just to put a bow on that round, it was actually Ghoul who was caught out on Jacuzzi with no openings in that shower, that bathroom wall. So it just completely left him with no line of sight as to where Oda's position was. And now as we move on to this round, Todd, fortunate enough to be alive there. Nazgul would not be able to fight Drex on that awkward line. And that's a lot of noise Nazgul's making there, and it should initiate the rest of Rhythm to make a little bit of a move on now. 4 players on site with 1 still over at Secret, which is Repix. And Drex just ever so cautious in Garage.
It's got to be slow and steady here for Rhythm. Last time they attacked this bomb site, Supremacist fell victim to a spawn peek from Shade, and the aggression from Bliss was just putting Rhythm offside too much to handle. So we need to see Rhythm slow and steady, and while they have lost 3 drones in this process, they've at least taken the map control. Still haven't completely finalized this map control actually as of yet. They better get a move on though. I think that this is still a decent position for Rhythm. They just need to convert this mid-round, start getting that vertical game going, start opening these hatches and shaping up for the execute.
Geez, it does seem like it's taken them a fairly long time there. Out comes one of the C4s, doesn't connect. In fact, it opens up a pre-established vertical line, and Lev might be able to find whoever that is running underneath. Now stuck at the back of Armory. It's Oda on the other side. Leb chasing around. Hasn't been given the opportunity yet to find that kill. Still 3 impacts on the side of Team Bliss. And nothing comes through to deny.
25 seconds though. Leb has to make sure that this nade clears that shield. There's a Wamar on the other side. 1 more nade left. Does Ghoul have any more flashes? They have to burn whatever util there is there. Nade comes through, gets the Vulcan shield. Here's the drop. No, Faix goes down. Oda here in the midst of the smoke. Nazgul feeling the pressure. Leb, he can't land the shots. The blind is denied. The knife, but it's not enough.
Operators, you have run out of
And what is that chaos from Bliss?
Wow, these are some insane rounds right now. First, it was Leb struggling to stick the defuse in the round prior, and then on this occasion, he could not hold the push from the players. There were just too many angles to try and take. And it falls once again at the wayside. Right now, we could be staring down the barrel at a 4-1.5. The Team Bliss, they're just getting it done. It's as simple as that. And now we head back to the top floor at CCTV.
attackers need to locate and defuse.
I'm starting to feel like Bliss is really winning this mental game. They are just poking and prodding. Rhythm lost. When it came down to that late execute, Bliss had every single opening and they just flooded. Uncontrollable is what they were. Rhythm couldn't deal with it. Took too long to clear the map and just too long to prepare for that execute. By the time it came about, it was too desperate. Now we revisit the CCTV bomb site, right? And
Before insertion.
Oda has once again made a rotation of his operators. He's on the Kaid now. No more Bandit, no more Maestro. You have the Goyo, though, as the big change here. Shade previously on the Malusi. That switched over to Todd. No Valkyrie. That's the thing that's been omitted here.
And how much intel will that take away from the side of Bliss? We don't know, but, you know, You have to do these things. Now, Oda, surely you're not going to try to hit the trick here. Let's see what the timing's like. It'll at least get the second charge as it hit off there.
Ooh,
Or will
I
it
think
not even? The EMP was
jams.
perfect, man.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
That is so good. Really well played there from Rhythm, and the adaptation from Oda just did not quite hit the mark, and massive wide opening there for Rhythm to utilize on that Kennel's breach, and as has been customary, Rhythm will now rotate over to Con. Now the change here for Bliss is the fact that they actually reinforced logistic here. Nova uses his final Selma to breach this wall, and Nazgul's actually opened up one of the single panels from Cash into construction, playing a bit more aggressively. Let's see how Bliss deal with, how Rhythm deal with this.
Well, presumably the X-Kairos haven't been used unless they opened up Garage, so they'll still be able to make a bit of a nuisance there. And there you have it. They have not been touched yet. You'd expect that at least maybe 2 sets of them will be used across at Garage, or maybe I mean, the way it's looking right now, they're putting a lot of attention across toward Con. And this may be where they try to continue to put the pressure on. It's a nice nade from Leb, and it actually forces the Goyo shield to well and truly blow Repix. Oh, how does he find the kill? You know what? An eye for an eye. I think you'd be pretty happy with that.
At least they traded him, right? But massive pick supremacists for the double. 50 seconds left, and once again, eye for an eye.
Reloading.
Leaving both teams blind. 3v3. Todd holding the top red stairs. Time ticking away. Rhythm need to shape up for the execute, rotating one player over to Kennels, but Shade is still below. That C4 is prepped and ready to deny that plant. That could be everything. Oda also stepping up massively. It's all now on these 2 players to hold on.
1 C4 still in the hand here. Maybe they might be able to get underneath and deny, but no fakes. He changes it up. He gets into Cash, and that nearly threw it completely. Now Todd has to hope for a Hail Mary. Can't find anything. Tries to make his way up the stairs, and Ghoul is waiting with open arm. Rhythm with a successful last round of the half. They claw it back. We'll see you in a second. So 3-3 goes the half, and Bliss now swapped to their attacking side, hoping and praying that this will show more promising signs, because I feel as though they've let Rhythm a little bit too much into this game.
No doubt about it. This is a 3-3 half is not what it was looking like there for a minute. Bliss started to really get in Rhythm's head, but that tooth and nail fight, bare knuckles for that final round on Rhythm's attack, definitely has set themselves up, potentially even to be the favored team here as we move on to their defense side. Keeping in mind here that Bliss are the team that statistically should be favored here, currently second in the standings, and have that head-to-head advantage over Rhythm. Last time these teams played was on Clubhouse during the relegations, and Bliss won it. Rhythm since then have made some massive changes, as have Bliss, but a victory here for Rhythm would certainly make that run for playoffs possible.
That's it, right? The all-elusive top 5. Just get yourselves in, get your foot in the door for the first stage of OCN. Whatever comes from it after that, well, so be it. At the moment, Rhythm happy to play a heavy roam. Supremacist and Novaics. Oh, huge C4! No, Nazgul!
Oh.
The timing of it, he backs away and just gets around the corner in time. Fortunate for him.
The drone goes forth. Oh no, the default camera giving so much info to Rhythm on for this roam. There goes the nade, the jump out.
What?
Ambitious for no thanks, but Nazgul reads it. Supremacist under the pump and finished off Oda. Locks that one down tight, and Bliss win that roam game fair and square.
Love that. Huge from Nazgul. The nade into showers as he catches the player coming out, and fortunately his teammates there to just double down for the damage. Drex now looking to play quite close on the main stairs. Contact comes in, but Oda not going to be able to find the kill yet. Smoke doesn't actually push him back. He's not going to be taking any damage there. Drex is playing with death. And instead, thinks the better of it as he's now fallen back to site.
Will be necessary at this point. Rhythm bloodied across the board. Or Leb, this is cheeky. It could be so damaging here if no one from Bliss is watching the flank. Ready to push through storage. Ghoul's dying on site. Leb's got to move now.
That's the kill. That's the one. The linchpin. If you can find a second here, it's on. And now with Drex holding Moto, there's a small little hint of belief here, but it looks like they're going to bypass in toward Kirch now. Actually, they've gone straight into Armory. Drex can't get the line, and Leb, there's no chance of denying. He'll have to sit for the 1 versus 3. The pre-fire's good, but the kill is not. And Team Bliss take the round. A little bit of salt from Oda as well.
Oda's certainly happy about that one. He's been stepping it up here. And Bliss starting to get a bit of an advantage over Rhythm 4-3. Once again, Bliss take that narrow lead. And funnily enough, it came to that roam clear. Very successful for Bliss. One of the factors potentially relevant there is the fact that Rhythm don't have the mute available. Bliss banned it out. And often when you go for an SSG roam strat like Rhythm just went for, you know, the Mozzie, the Castle, you want to have the mute there. It's one of the key ingredients to denying that info and keeping your roamers alive. And Rhythm certainly did not keep their roamers alive.
You know, and one of the insane parts about what's kind of happened there for Team Bliss is they, with a minute left, they only had 3 drones. So they were going in pretty much blind. Unless all 3 drones were on site and could pick out where those anchors were, they were going in blind, and they still managed to be able to fight tooth and nail. Granted, in a 5 versus 3, you would hope that you'd confirm that no matter the intel or not, but Rhythm threw everything bar the kitchen sink at them, roaming as many up top as they felt was necessary. And then obviously, like you said, Leb trying to be a cheeky boy coming up the oil pit. That could have been something, but alas, it is not. And this time, they're looking for a lot more attention from Drex on this cheeky little bandit.
Barricading that door to top red as well to protect from Zafir concussions, cancelling his animation and thwarting the bandit trip. What are Bliss going to do to deal with that? Avax is roaming below as well to make sure Bliss don't get control downstairs. That's what Shay's looking to do, but his drone's taken down. Nice on and early by Nova. Nazgul as well starting to pressure downstairs as the first bit of hard breach goes out on the garage. It looks like Bliss is shaping up for a garage and Kennel's wall push.
The attacker's bomb diffuser has been dropped. Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
So 2 minutes in, and it looks like Bliss are sitting decently comfortable again. Drones aren't too much of a concern this time. Still got 6 up. Nazgul just taking a little tickle there, wherever he may be. But apart from that, it's been relatively quiet other than the openings in garage there. finally,
Oh,
it's going to be Shade to put a bit of attention there, but he's going to be careful because Bliss is going to be right on top of him.
Oh.
And that on the left
Nailed
side
it.
should be good.
nailed the trick on the right side, but that EMP did its job. Now Drex caught out of position. Leb's gone down as well. Seems to be working out perfectly for Bliss. Fortunately, Drex has retaken the position of his dead teammate, meaning that Rhythm can hold on to Rafters for just a little bit longer. This could be the fight for him. And Oda goes down, evening that man count.
Nazgul now inside, needs to be careful of the C4. It's actually thrown a very, very decent size there. Drax is going to be forced out, but hits the shot into Repix. Flashes galore, and the trade comes from Shade all the way out by Kennels, but it's trades back and forth, Dev. A 2 versus 3, and Team Bliss have lost their momentum in this round.
The perfect swings from Supremacist, making sure that Drex's death was not in vain. Tough position now for Todd and Nazgul. Rotate opened by Naz. 30 seconds, still some time to play with. The C4 steal in Supremacist's pocket. What is that, Nazgul? Todd now to clutch at 25 HP.
Oh, they don't know where he is. Oh my God. Oh, I thought that was it. The trigger discipline was unbelievable, but no, Vaix swings back just at the right time. Oh, wow. That actually could have completely destroyed Rhythm there. But well done, regardless of timing. It was a nice hold, and you do have to highlight Drex's performance there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Rafters was such a pivotal position for Rhythm to hold, and despite Leb dying really, really early, holding that, Drex just retook it after he lost that bandit trick. And he gets 2 kills from Rafters, and even after he was traded, Supremacist swings Kennels to trade back again. That is so good from Rhythm, and it made a massive difference, impacted their chances, and it's even up the scoreline once again. Now we go back to Church and Arsenal. Rhythm picked apart here. They're roam completely out of sorts, so they've changed tack completely. No longer a heavy roam setup do we have. It's no longer that Castle and Mozzie muteless SSG roam. They've decided to lean instead into a more site-centric setup.
Yes, learning their lesson, that's fine. And now how they decide to approach is all but everything there. And
That's 2 drones down.
yeah, you beat me to
It's
it.
actually quite a big deal.
I said you took the words right out of my mouth. Oh, it must have been while you were talking about
5
drones.
seconds left.
And I think that's good. Yes,
Moving out to
very
locate the
good.
bomb and defuse it.
But no, that's a lot of information early on that Team Bliss are just not going to have now.
That's it. And funnily enough, I think Rhythm are actually quite keen to have a bit of a roam. Instead of leaning into that kind of more static SSG roam, though, it's very loose. Information here, potentially that could enable a flank. Not a great camera, though. So as long as Bliss have a look for it on those shelves, they should be able to find it straight away. The goo mines might slow down Bliss a little bit, but I don't expect it to make that much of a difference, honestly. It's just a little bit of loose game here for Rhythm. See how many impacts they got? 4 as well, so they can waste a bit of time impact tricking that kitchen hatch as well. But at the end of the day, Bliss should be able to open it pretty easy peasy with the Hibana.
I guess it's one thing we don't talk about enough of, especially with, you know, obviously Hibana now only being able to shoot, you know, 2. Oh, Repix.
Oh, he impacted the Claymore too. So if Repix
Wow.
had not spotted that camera, that would have been a flank up the stairs. Really, really lucky he saw that.
Wow, that's a 5-head moment right there, and a little bit lucky as well. And does he turn around and spot the other cam? No,
He hasn't yet.
no, not yet. And you know what? It's
okay.
probably going to go unnoticed here, Dev.
May well, just behind him. Oh,
Yep.
He was on his screen there for a second, but he didn't quite see it. I don't think there was anyone from Rhythm on it, though. Repix
No.
is just watching for that flank. I really do think it is possible. Oh, there you go. That's 2 of the 3 Valcams down. Epix has done good work here, but for now it's just flank watch as we turn our attention to the rest of the map. And both the Moto and kitchen hatches are open, so Bliss have actually made great